Hey there. Today, we're going to tear down a really common myth. The idea that starting something new, something you care about, has to be this huge, terrifying leap of faith into the unknown. We're going to talk about a different way, a calmer, smarter way to get started, one that's based in reality, not just hope. So, let's dive in.
Does this look familiar? I mean, really, does this feeling hit home for you? That sense of just being stuck? You're waiting for that perfect idea, that lightning bolt of inspiration, or some kind of guaranteed plan before you even dare to make a move? You are so not alone in feeling this way. This is probably the most common starting point there is.
And this, right here, is the heart of the problem. We are absolutely wired to want a guarantee. We want to know that all our hard work is going to pay off. But here's the thing. Certainty isn't where you start. It's what you might find at the finish line. Waiting for it before you begin? Well, that's like waiting to be handed the trophy before you've even run the race. It just doesn't work that way.
So how do we actually get moving? Well, this is our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the certainty trap and why it holds so many of us back. Then we'll learn a new game, the probability game. We'll find a realistic fit for you, map your actual skills to real problems, and then, and this is the important part, take that first tiny, safe step. Because our goal here? It's not certainty, it's clarity.
Okay, first up, the certainty trap. This is the big one, It's this belief that we need to feel 100% confident before we can act. But the truth is, it's the complete opposite. Confidence is a result of taking action. Waiting for that perfect, ironclad guarantee, that's why so many amazing ideas just wither and die before they even get a chance. The lack of certainty doesn't mean you're not ready. It just means you're at the starting line, which is exactly where you're supposed to be.
So if we can't have certainty, what do we have instead? Probabilities. This is the new mental model we need to adopt. Think about it. You can't control the outcome. You can't control the market, or timing, or just plain luck. Those things are totally out of your hands. But you know what you can control? The quality of your decisions. Your job isn't to perfectly predict the future. Your job is just to make choices that improve your odds, even by a little bit.
Just look at the difference here. On the left, waiting for certainty, it's paralyzing. It's this immense, heavy pressure that leads to doing nothing at all. But on the right, when you shift your focus to just improving your probabilities, it becomes a journey of small, manageable actions. You're not stuck anymore. You're moving, learning from each little step, and using that new information to figure out the next one.
And this brings us to something so many people see as a huge barrier, their day job. The hustle culture story tells us it's this giant obstacle, this thing you have to quit to be free. But what if we reframe that? What if your job isn't a barrier, but a resource? It provides income, stability. It gives you a safe platform to stand on, allowing you to learn and explore without the desperation of needing it to work right away.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? Stability is not a lack of ambition. It is a strategic advantage. It's the solid ground you can launch your experiments from. It lets you test things, learn, and even fail safely. And honestly, that dramatically increases your odds of actually succeeding in the long run.
Okay, so with this new mindset in place, where do we actually start? Well, not with brainstorming a million crazy ideas. We start by looking inward. So many new projects fail for a really simple reason. They just don't fit the founder's real life. The first step is to find a direction that actually aligns with who you are and where you are today.
A really powerful tool for this is a personal SWOT analysis. It's simple. What are your internal strengths and weaknesses, and what are the external opportunities and threats around you? The goal here isn't to be optimistic. It's to be brutally honest with yourself. For instance, saying, "I have zero experience with sales," is a super useful piece of data. Saying, "I'm just bad at business," well, that's just unhelpful judgment. Stick to the facts. That's how you get clarity.
Right, so once you're clear on your own reality, the next goal is sustainability. And here's a thought that might sound a little weird. For now, forget about passion. Seriously, passion is an emotion. It comes and it goes. Sustainability, though, that's practical. It's about finding something you can do consistently, week after week, without burning out. An idea you can actually stick with is way more valuable than a thrilling one you'll give up on in a month.
Now we get to make a really important shift. We stop asking, what brilliant idea should I have? And we start asking a much more powerful question. What problem can I solve? Because at its core, every single business, every project, every side hustle that works, it exists to solve a problem for somebody else. Usefulness is the absolute foundation.
And here's a super simple way to find that usefulness. Step 1. List out your skills, all of them.
The professional stuff, the practical stuff, even the informal things you're good at. Step 2, list problems you see around you, at work, in your hobbies, in your community. And step 3, this is the magic part, connect them. Ask yourself, how can something I already know how to do solve one of these problems? You're not inventing from scratch, you're just connecting the dots that are already there.
This is such a critical idea to absorb. We are constantly told that we need to be unique, to have a brilliant, world-changing idea no one's ever had before. But honestly, solving a common problem in a really useful, reliable way is almost always more valuable. You don't have to be a genius, you just have to be helpful. Okay, so you have a potential direction. You've connected one of your skills to a problem. So what's next? It's time to act. But we're not talking about a big, risky, all-or-nothing leap. No way. We are going to take that first step safely using a tool I like to call a micro-experiment. Now, this idea of a micro-experiment is a total game changer. It's a small, safe, controllable, and usually reversible action, and it's designed to answer one very specific question. And look very closely at the goal here. The goal is not progress, the goal is information. This changes everything. You're not trying to succeed or fail, you're just trying to learn something.
To actually do these experiments, you have to learn to separate fear from risk. On the left here, you've got fear. That's the emotional stuff, the vague, scary monster under the bed. It feels huge. But on the right, you have risk. Risk is practical, it's measurable. By designing these tiny safe experiments, you're not trying to get rid of the fear. You're just building a solid little bridge, one plank at a time, to manage the actual, measurable risk.
And this gives us a brand new definition of what success even means at this stage. An experiment that teaches you something useful has worked. That's it, full stop. So if you run a small test and find out your idea is totally wrong, that's not a failure. That is a perfect success. You just saved yourself months or even years chasing a bad idea. Learning is the only thing that counts as a win right now.
So let's tie all of this together. The whole point of this entire process, from start to finish, is not to find the perfect, guaranteed to succeed idea. The real objective is just to gain enough clarity to confidently take one more small, safe step forward.
And you know what progress really looks like? It's not a notebook filled with 100 amazing possibilities. It's actually the opposite. Real progress is having fewer ideas, because you've systematically and smartly eliminated the ones that just don't fit. Better decisions don't come from adding more options. They come from subtraction.
This whole approach is about being consistent, not about being bold. It's a really simple loop. You take one safe step, that step creates information, and that information helps you make a slightly better decision about the next step. Over time, all those small, smart decisions start to compound, and that is how you genuinely and sustainably improve your odds.
If you only remember one thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. Clarity beats certainty. Every single time. Your goal isn't to feel 100% sure. Your goal is just to feel clear enough about what to do next. You're not being asked to choose your final destination today. You're just choosing how you want to move forward. What's your next tiny step, your next micro-experiment? By keeping your foundation stable and focusing on learning, you give yourself the greatest gift of all, time. And it's time that turns all that scary uncertainty into real opportunity. So I'll just leave you with that question. What's your next step?